Hey YouTube. I'm recording this when I'm sick, but I am much better right now because I just took the strongest, most disgusting cold medicine I've ever tasted. It's good for me, I just won't like it for a while. So excuse me if I still want to throw it up right now. This video that I made is not for the family. It's not for children. It was made really so that anyone else who is going through a similar situation can find some solace, can maybe understand more of what they're going through, and find a way out of that pit that I was in, that they might be in right now as well. This is a journey. This journey I'm about to tell y'all about is how I went from probably my lowest point to a complete reawakening. My name is Faith Untold. The devil works in many ways, and for me, he took the form of modern day entertainment, which is a real bummer, because if you know me, I love all kinds of TV series, of movies, all these modern technological entertainment systems. And he used them against me to plant seeds of temptation and sin in my life, because unfortunately there is a lot of entertainment out there today, and back whenever this was going on, like probably ever since the beginning of movie theaters, there's always been corruption in them. And unfortunately, he showed me in one of these ways, one of these what most would consider a normal entertainment like TV show today. He showed me porn for the very first time. And I, unfortunately, got addicted. All it took for him to get me was just one moment of weakness, one moment where I let my guard down. That's all it needed, one moment for me to not have my walls up, for me to start falling into the judge's cycle of temptation. And it's not like a fast, sudden change. It is a slow fall. It always is. Whoever tells you it's a fast and instant thing, that's not it. They're lying, because falling into temptation, you have to let it in, and Satan will slowly seep it into your life more and more until you are addicted, like I unfortunately was. And soon I didn't even remember what it was to hear God or feel His love. I was lost. This time that I was in was one I could hardly remember now, because it truly was such a dark place that I was in. I didn't have many pleasant memories in it. I did have some moments in there where I could forget and have some small resemblance to happiness, but it was never as full as it could be if I had been walking with God at that time. I had like moments where I thought I was repenting, but I was just regretting my past sins, and I was in that judge's cycle of asking God, calling out to Him, and then falling back into my old ways, never really repenting for a long time. I was swimming in darkness. Those small moments where I had forgotten, I was like in this fog of knowing in the back of my mind, but never realizing that I had truly left God of my own accord. The only happy moments I had during this time were small blips when God managed to seep through and I could just appreciate the family I had that was growing around me, even if they didn't know what was going on in my life, in my personal spiritual life. Because even though you can live with your family and be really close with them, unless you let your walls down, they won't probably see what's going on unless you ask for their help or want their help, and then unknowingly ask for it in the things that you do. In this dark time, I forgot. What did I forget? The answer to that is everything. In those several years, I was lost in the I had ever known. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to turn. One of the saddest things about it is I didn't even know the fog was there. I didn't realize at the time I was living in my own sin. I thought I was fine just going with what God, whatever God planned, but in reality, I had tricked myself into believing Satan's lies, and I had unknowingly started believing that, yes, while I had no control, that's obvious, I also tricked myself into not having any hope because I had forgotten God, and since I had left Him, I didn't believe that He or anyone else could ever love me, even though in my head I knew He knew what was going on. I was in a daze going through life without purpose. If you've ever gone through life feeling you have no purpose, it sucks. That's the short and narrow of it. But I was walking in darkness for so long that I forgot there was light. And that's the sad truth. I was broken. I slowly realized in the core of my soul that I was dying. I was basically the prodigal son. I had taken everything that was given to me out of kindness and love and mercy, and I had spit in the one who gave me its face. I had spit in the kind person who had given me hope, given me love. I spit in their face, basically, and ruined myself. It's not something that someone else made me do. It was my own choice. I was living with the consequences of my own actions, and I fully deserved, and I regretted it. Because before, I had just regretted that my sin had gotten me to this place, but I hadn't regretted committing the sin, committing the wrong. But whenever I don't know how or when it happened, but I woke and I realized how wrong I had been. And then I started regretting the actual sin. I was repentant, but I couldn't bring myself to ask God to save me. I didn't see a way out. I knew I deserved nothing, no love from anyone, and that terrified me, but it also consoled me because asking God to forgive me was the scariest thing I could have done, because I couldn't handle the rejection that I knew I deserved. So I just went about acting like everything was fine, like I had slightly before, because I felt no one really saw me, like the whole me, like the dirty, darkest parts of me. They only saw what I showed them, which isn't true with God. But I bought an insane lie that he wouldn't see it either. And I tried hiding from God because I was so ashamed. And when I realized it, my guilt killed me. My family had still been going to church during this time, and I had always gone with them. But it had taken so long for me to realize how wrong I was and to try turning away from this evil sin. I was turned away from God, and I had slowly realized it. I realized it in my heart, but I was too afraid to act on it or to hear him. There was the one Sunday, and I can't remember exactly what the preacher said, but I know God spoke to my heart that day. I had been carrying my sin and my shame and my regrets and all my guilt, and it was like carrying a sack of rocks and seeing those rocks in the mirror for like the first time. It was a reawakening. For the first time, I had seen the full extent of my darkness, because God was showing me the light. I had been hiding from God because I knew, like, I was afraid how much darkness he could see in me. But he had seen it all along. He had come down to earth, looked me right in the face, and told me to hand it over. At least that's what it felt like to me. Looking back now, I just picture him smiling as he said it. Because he was telling me with those eyes, it wasn't my job to carry the burdens. It was his. If I let him. I had heard the angels singing that day, I swear. They were telling me what my heart had forgotten to believe. God loved me, and I didn't have to carry that burden anymore. Thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all had an awesome time and that God spoke to you through this, maybe. God's speaking to each and every one of us in our own way, and I know it was really important for me to make this video and post it. He had put it on my heart a long time ago, and it was really hard for me to write. It was even hard for me to record. But I hope y'all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!